On today's episode, I am going to take a look at the two advertisement giants. That's going to be Facebook and Google. Both these stocks are up big after reporting earnings. So today we're just going to take a quick look at their earnings. And I'm also going to share my thoughts of if I would buy or sell at these moments. If this is your first time here, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up and stay tuned where I live stream every morning here on YouTube. So let's get started. But before we begin, let's take a listen to today's sponsor. I want to thank the Motley for sponsoring this video. The Motley is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. You guys know I love finding new investing tools and resources to help me scout out new growth stocks. And right now I have a discount for one of my favorite services the Fool offers. Through the Motley Fool Stock Advisor services, you get access to a ton of expert stock picks. Every month you'll get 2 new picks that are aimed at growing your wealth and to help you realize your financial goals. Stock Advisor's average stock picks have done amazing returns. If growing your money is something you'd like to do more of this year, you can visit fool.com/Jose Najarro or click on the link below for access to my special offer and decide if the Stock Advisor is right for you. Thanks again to the Motley Fool, and now onto today's video. Alright, so first let's start off by taking a look at Alphabet. I am going to look at it trading under the NASDAQ as ticker GOOGL, but remember you can also trade this as GOOG. Right now it's sitting at $2,359 and it is up about 3% after earnings. This was the highest closing price the stock has seen right now, so it's just been demolishing the market lately. It's done great returns to investors, so congratulations to anybody holding Google right now. If we take a quick look at their earnings, they beat expectations on actual earnings per share, on revenue, and on YouTube ads. Another thing to note is the CEO of Google mentioned during the earnings call that the YouTube Shorts, which is TikTok's competition, saw 6.5 billion daily views, and this is a significant increase of 3.5 billion at the end of January. Now let's take a quick look at their earnings presentations. Revenue overall was up 34% compared to the same time last year. Their operating margins were 30%. Huge expansion there. Overall, the company seems to be doing great. Now let's take a closer look at that revenue segment. Total revenue was 55 billion. 44.6 of that 55 comes from Google advertisement, a huge beat in Google search and others, and a huge beat in YouTube ads. YouTube ads is continuing to increase. I'm super happy because as a YouTube content creator, if we're seeing an increase in YouTube ads, it means there's more people coming to this service and more viewers. So it's great to see that. So their Google advertisement was up huge, $11 billion compared to the same time last year, which was sitting at, now it's sitting at $44.7 billion. Google Others, which includes fees from the Play Store, also includes hardware, was also up a nice amount compared to the same time last year. Google Cloud was now $4 billion compared to 2.7 a year ago. So Google Cloud is increasing. Unfortunately for Google, everything is not profitable. Google Cloud is not profitable. The other bets, which is the smaller companies that Google owns, Alphabet owns, whatever, is not profitable. The only profitable segment that they have is Google Services, and this is pretty much due to the advertisement. Next, I also want to mention on April 23rd of 2021, the board of directors authorized $50 billion of repurchase. That is insane. This quarter alone, I was taking a look at, this company purchased about $11.4 billion of shares in just one quarter. So we can see earnings were great and a lot of analysts ended up with price target or hikes. So right here we can see a hike from 2,700 all the way to 2,850. Remember, the stock is sitting at about 2,300 right now. Another analyst bumped it up to 2,850, up from 2,650. Another one gave it a 2,510, up from 2,350. 2,755, up from 2,440. So we can see the overall bullishness of analysts right now is just growing as this company provided some great earnings report. Another thing to mention, during the earnings call, Google indicated that the Q1 search growth was led mainly by retail, consumer packaged good, and tech sectors. And analysts believe in Q2 it will be the cyclical sectors next, followed by the renewed interest in travel. So analysts believe that the upcoming quarters are still going to be super strong for Google. All right, so like we saw, Google's strong earnings, strong growth, strong repurchase. At the end of this episode, I'm gonna share my thoughts of if I'm gonna buy, if I'm gonna sell, or how would I handle the situation. But now let's take a look at the second stock. This is Facebook. Right now it's traded under the NASDAQ as ticker FB. It ended the day at $307, but after reporting earnings, the stock is up 5.7%. This after hours price would be Facebook's 52-week high right now, so it is looking good for investors. Again, congratulations to anybody holding long. All right, now let's just take a quick highlight on earnings. Earnings per share were better than forecasted. Revenue was up about $3 billion compared to what was expected by analysts. Then daily active users kind of fell a bit short, super short. Same with monthly active users, but average revenue per users grew. So now let's take a closer look at their numbers. Revenue overall was up 48%. Advertisement saw a huge 46% growth. The others market, for those that are not familiar, other is pretty much the hardware that Facebook has. It has the virtual reality. It also has the portal, which is a communication hardware. That segment was up 146% compared to the same time last year, and that's super exciting, even though it still makes up such a small portion of this company's total revenue, right? Out of the total $26 billion of revenue, the other segment was not even $1 billion. Right now, it makes up roughly about 2 to 3% of total revenue, but I see this increasing. I do believe over time it's gonna make up a bigger portion, and that 146% growth is super amazing. Family monthly active people was about 3.4 billion. That is insane, the amount of users they have, right? And that was an increase of 15% compared to same time last year. So huge growth there. That's what's a huge driving force for companies like this, right? You want advertisements to go, you want monthly active people to go up, because that means there's more eyes in your platform. More eyes in your platform means that people are willing to pay more for advertisements. If we take a look at CFO Outlook commentary, they were pretty impressed with their first quarter, right? We saw strong double digits growth. The main reason for this growth was because there was a 30% year-over-year increase in average price per ad. And there was also a 12% increase in the number of ads delivered, right? There's always limited amount of space. So right now, while everything is opening up, everybody's trying to advertise, everybody's trying to pile up, that increases the overall prices. So that's what's helping out Facebook a lot. They do expect revenue growth for the full of 2021 will be primarily driven by price, not by actual increase of number of ads. They do mention that they expect some form of headwind in the overall advertisement business, mainly because companies like Apple are kind of doing some form of privacy updates, which will begin to impact the company during the second quarter. This is something Google did not mention, but it is something that could affect them as well. Facebook also mentioned that they are going to increase their overall expense, and the main reason, compared to what they guided previously, the main reason for this increase in expense is they want to drive most of their money into the infrastructure, but also into consumer hardware related costs. So it tells me that they're really focusing in that virtual reality, the Oculus Rift, and really drive more customers into that segment. And I do believe in the next few quarters, we are going to see more revenue growth from that other segment. So next, I just want to take a quick look at some charts. First, you can see family monthly active people on Facebook. It is up continuous, right? It's not slowing down. That's super strong. The family average revenue per person is up compared to the same time last year. This is probably my favorite chart, even though it's such a small portion of the company's revenue, the other revenue segment. This is up dramatic. Like we saw over 100% growth compared to the same time last year. We can see most of it is coming from United States and Canada. But I do believe this is how we're going to continue to see Facebook's other revenue for the upcoming quarters. All right, so that's it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoy it. Like I said, Facebook and Google both did amazing earnings. I do have a position in both. And first, let me just share my overall thoughts. I have no intentions, none whatsoever, of selling, even with these big price ups. Right now, these are companies that I believe will continue to grow over time. Let's say I did not have an exposure on Facebook or Google. Who would I choose, and at what points would I buy in? I personally would not choose. I would enjoy having both of them in my portfolio. So if I didn't have any of them and I wanted to get into this market, I would gladly enter both of them at these times. but at this time we've seen a nice price increase. So how I would play it, I would probably just enter a bit in the game, enter a small position, and dollar cost average over time. If any of these see a big drop in stock price, that's when I would say time to go in up a lot bigger. But right now, these are great markets continuing to grow. The overall advertisement market is one that I'm super bullish on. So those are my thoughts. I hope you enjoy it, and let me know if you guys had to choose one, Facebook or Google, who would you choose? Or would you do just like me and choose them both? So take care, guys, and peace out.